Coach, in trying to find all the different ways to describe the depth of your hockey club, I thought maybe you hit a new one in Washington on Saturday when Josh Morrissey became the sixth different player to score in overtime for your hockey team this year. I'm wondering, because they go in pairs of threes, is there anybody else that you can add to that list that would be a different name if overtime comes up?
Yeah, you know what? The interesting thing, and I watched some other games that happen 3-on-3. A lot of times it ends up in shootouts, or it goes the distance, or it goes later. Ours seem to end pretty quick, so I like it when we end it quick like that. So I haven't really gotten to a third pair. There's been a couple, but on the road there's kind of one setup that we have to do, and then at home you're kind of watching what the other team is throwing out. So I didn't know that about 6 different guys scoring. That's awesome.
Yeah, but again, it just kind of goes back to everything you've talked about. The depth. I know a question was asked of Gabe about how you've done so well since Adam went out of the lineup.
Yeah, and that's what we said it was going to be by committee. We don't have anybody that's in the organization that's a clone of Adam Lowry that does what he does and what he brings both on and off the ice. And people have stepped up. I mentioned the other day about Gus having to take a lot more left-handed face-offs in our D zone, and he's done that. Coop jumping on that line with Apple and Nino. Different areas on the penalty kill, guys have had to step in and fill those roles. So that's kind of been by committee, and you love to see that. It was not a lot different than when we lost a bunch of our defensemen early in the year. Guys have had to step in and play bigger roles, and they've accepted it and done a real good job with it.
One other thing that applies to Saturday night, but also can carry over into tomorrow night, and it was released by the National Hockey League that Mark Scheifele is now the leader among active players with 10 consecutive 60-point seasons, more than McDavid, more than Draisaitl, et cetera, et cetera. But he's also, now because he didn't score, he just set up a couple of goals, including the game winner. He's got the chance to become the all-time franchise leader for Jets 2.0. Of course, you played with the guy from 1.0. So does it just become, I guess, even more special? He has a chance to do it here in these last 2 home games before the Four Nations break.
Yeah, I just think it's where Scheif has gone with his game. It's been, he's really turned into an all-around player. We put a lot of, we asked a lot about his buy-in without the puck, and I think that's been exceptional. But the other side for me is that he always liked to, pass the puck, and I think he liked to do that first. But he realizes now that he's getting himself into some grade A positions, and he has a great shot, and he can score goals. He's proven that, and I think this year that line has worked real well. To make sure that whoever the threat was, that the threat is, that they take those shots, and that's what Mark's doing this year. He's taken way more, or he's got himself in a position way more where he's got quality looks, and like I said, he's got a heck of a shot and a heck of a release.
Scott, you guys are obviously going really well. In some ways, you're almost bemoaning the fact that just playing twice in a 20-day span here, like, would you want to almost keep going when things are going well, or the break will be good for everybody?
No, we've kind of broken this down into 3 segments and kind of getting to the Christmas break, and like I mentioned about eliminating 8 teams in the West and getting as high as possible in the Central Division. This part between Christmas and this Four Nations is the part where there's real separation that happens. Teams are scraping and clawing to stay in the playoff picture. It's really about making sure that you're consistent going to the break. Obviously, the last 30 will be, the big ones, the big push. But, you know what? We've done a good job. We're ahead of teams when it comes to games played, and we've won those, which is a bonus. So I'm okay with this. We haven't seen too many days where we get a day off in a practice and a game, and that's what we get this week. So couple of tough Eastern teams coming in here in Carolina and the Islanders. So it'll be a good test for us. Hopefully we can finish off on a good note.
I think league best plus 20 after one period, and on the road trip you were either leading or tied after one. Starts are great, but where does the start come from? Does it start at 10 in the morning? Does it start at 2 in the afternoon instead of getting on the ice? Guys preparing, and what's your role in helping them with that?
Yeah, we certainly talk about it earlier than game time. Going into Montreal, Boston, and Washington, all real tough buildings to play in, and all known for their good starts, and that's kind of what we had talked about, that we had to be ready to go. But it was more about our compete, not being careless with the puck, playing fast. That's probably the area for me that we did really well. We played real quick. at start of games, and it allowed us to play in their opposition zone and spend time down there. And there is a mental side of it. You have to come out and come after teams and get to your game as fast as possible. I thought we did that.